The following show is a Pod Avenue production. You are cordially invited to have dinner with the King. Pull up a chair and join WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler and Glenn Moore. Enjoy.
Well, hello everybody. Glenn here with another episode of Dinner with the King here on podavenue.com. And before I get King on the line, because he's getting his Skype set up in Memphis while I'm here in Cleveland, I want to let you know about some great things going on at the website podavenue.com. First of all, you can get all the episodes of Dinner with the King at podavenue.com/king. Has all the podcast links, so if you have an iPhone, if you have an Android, if you want to listen on your computer or with YouTube, you can go click those links and subscribe and be updated whenever we drop our episodes. Also, make sure you guys want to check out the other big Memphis wrestling podcast we have on Pod Avenue, and that's Booking and Memphis Wrestling with Jerry Jarrett and Sean Reedy. Every Friday, they break down some of the bigger storylines, wrestlers, places, and more on the podcast that took place in Memphis, Tennessee, and throughout the territory where Jerry Lawler, the king, dominated for so many years, but also other faces came through the area. Hulk Hogan, The Rock, just to name a couple. And I want to make sure you guys check out episode number 17 of Booking Memphis Wrestling. Memphis wrestling historian and author Mark James is on the podcast with Jerry and Sean. Mark is going to be on our podcast soon. Just want to make sure you guys check that out, and make sure to check out lawlerbook.com if you want to order the book that has over 4,000 matches from 1970 to 1996 with the King. So make sure to check that out. For our podcast, podavenue.com/king, you can go to there, get links, but also get a link to Jerry's website, kingjerrylawler.com. Get some shirts, mystery boxes, 8x10s, and we throw some stuff up in there. Some memorabilia, some clothing throughout the week. Every few weeks, we're going to be throwing something, surprises up there for people to buy. And it's a one-time deal. We have one in stock. The King will put it up there whenever he sees fit. And you guys can buy some exclusive King merch on kingjerrylawler.com. So that's what's going on for the website. Hope everybody enjoys the episode. Now, I want to warn everybody before we get started with this episode is that there's a little less wrestling on this episode. A little less wrestling talk. We do talk about what happened with DX, some current storyline stuff, the crown jewel in Saudi Arabia. But for the good portion of the show, especially the beginning, it's going to talk about Jerry and I at the Donald Trump rally here in Tennessee. Well, it was in Mississippi, but King is only about 10 minutes away from the King's castle. So if you do not like the fact that we went to the Trump rally, you might want to fast forward for the first maybe 15, 20 minutes of the podcast. Hope you guys can respect the conversation and send some feedback to us about it. And if you're going to send some death threats, make sure you don't leave your name, because we take those seriously, and it's not cool. So, all right, guys, let's get Jerry on the line here and get this thing rolling.
The Wrestling Federation was in the hallowed halls of the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, for the WWS 14th consecutive sellout in Madison Square Garden. And certainly, King, you were there.
I was there with my good buddy. Check it out. Unbelievable. Everybody's WWF fans. Check it out. Donald Trump, the Donald, right here. Of course, other than seeing me, what brings you out here tonight to the Gardens?
Well, I'm a great friend of Vince. He's done an amazing job, and we love it. We really love it.
Who's your favorite superstar?
Well, I think other than you, I'd have to go with The Rock.
Very good answer in Madison Square Garden.
Episode number 72 of Dinner with the King. I'm Glenn Moore, joined here by WWE Hall of Famer, Memphis wrestling legend, a talented artiste, a man that wants you to order about 10 mystery boxes right now.
Oh, come on.
Jerry the King Lawler. How are you doing,
You're
King?
going overboard with that introduction. I'm doing good. Doing good, Glenn. How are you? You know what? Actually, I just, as you know, and we were going to talk about it a little bit, but I was at the New York Comic Con this past week, and I went by the Topps booth, you know, where all the wrestler trading cards and they got baseball, football, everything, but all the Topps people there. And I was talking with them for a little bit. We talked about the fact that I've got to sign about, I don't know, a couple of hundred cards here for an upcoming set. But the guy suddenly just reached down and he said, you got anybody that wants some cards? And I said, oh my gosh, yeah, Peyton, 10 years old, lives at the house there. He would love some cards. This guy just reaches in and gets this huge stack of packs of cards, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe 50 or 60 packs of cards. So just a little while ago, Peyton and I, and then Lauren came in, got in on the fun. We were going through all the cards, and we found 2 different ones of me. And I think I need you to start reading the back of these cards for my introduction every week.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we could, if you want.
This is one. First one says, 25 years after he first entered WWE and changed the landscape of color commentary forever, Jerry the King Lawler is still considered one of the best to call the action going on in the WWE ring. Though he doesn't appear on a weekly basis, Lawler's expertise is still found on television sets and other devices across the viewing landscape, delivering analytical one-liners in a manner that is nearly without parallel. Lawler's incredible broadcast career follows a decades-long tenure inside the ring, where he built a WWE Hall of Fame-worthy portfolio, including capturing the AWA World Heavyweight Championship. That'd be a good introduction for me every week, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Let's see what this other one says. Let's see. Though he has scaled back his broadcasting duties with WWE, Jerry the King Lawler can still be found sitting at the commentary table from time to time. The self-professed King of Memphis was one of the fiercest superstars in the ring and has one of the sharpest tongues that sports entertainment has ever seen, which made the transition from competition to commentary that much easier. Lawler has taken on the greatest athletes WWE has ever seen and never has backed down from a challenge, traits that make him the envy and idol of so many in the business. Wonder who wrote these.
Oh, what? You're done? Oh, okay.
What, am I done? Yeah, that's enough.
Who wrote these?
How much you going to get on the back of one of these little cards?
Co-hosting Dinner with the King with Glenn Moore each and every week.
Oh, yeah, that could have been on there, couldn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Good PR right there.
Well, my next card, I'll ask for that.
Yeah, right.
Well, I may. You can't tell.
Yeah. So, I mean, they call you the King of Memphis, but for the past week, people have been calling for your head.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Well, we didn't talk about it on last week's podcast, but you made the news last week, and he talked to TMZ about it.
You're calling it TMZ? That's the news?
Well, Channel 5, Memphis.
That is the news. You're right.
That is the news. If you follow along politics and you saw, pictures from a recent Trump rally, you probably saw the King and Lauren and Peyton and myself, first row.
That's right. You were there too.
You totally forgot.
Did you get any hate mail over social media?
Oh, I got a few tweets. Yeah.
Did you?
I didn't get any death threats.
Well,
but I got a few.
It's funny. I mean, it is funny that you're right. And TMZ came up to me at the New York Comic Con, and they said that they had seen pictures of me at the Trump rally, which, Lauren and I and Peyton, we got invited to go to the Trump rally. You got to realize he is a fellow WWE Hall of Famer, right? I mean, Donald Trump got inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2013. I was the master of ceremonies at that at that Hall of Fame induction. I got to introduce he and Vince McMahon that night. And so, we did some pictures together. Lauren did pictures with him and everything. Very nice guy. This was in 2013. And so, we're sort of like we're buddies. We're fellow Hall of Famers. So anyway, he was going to be in town. And so we got invited to the rally, which was at the Lander Center down in Senatobia, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis. So we went to the rally, and we're just sitting there watching. It's thousands and thousands of people. People couldn't even get in the place. It was turnaway crowd, and we listened to his speech and everything. And I guess some pictures were made, and some people saw. I'm sitting right next to Steve Earhart, who is the president or CEO of the Liberty Bowl here in Memphis, the big high-profile Memphian and everything. But anyway, our pictures got leaked out on the news. I mean, we were seen there behind Donald Trump on the news coverage of the speech, and then the TMZ people came and asked me about it, and so then I told them that it's so crazy. I didn't even think anything about it. I didn't even realize that our pictures were even out there. Then all of a sudden I look on my Twitter account, and holy mackerel, there's a bunch of people on there just like, just calling for my head just for the fact that they saw me at this Trump speech. And I got to admit, though, it was about 50-50, which is the way basically it seems like the country is about Donald Trump. Either you love him or you hate him. And the people that hate him, they hate not just Donald Trump. It's like they hate anybody that would ever associate with Donald Trump or anybody that has anything to do with Donald Trump, especially even like going to listen to a speech. And so, I got some pretty strong tweets on my Twitter account. Some people said you should have died when you had the heart attack and things like that. So I found out that a lot of people were pretty adamant about their not liking Donald Trump. I mean, there were a lot of people also that went on there that said, "Oh my gosh, how?" Then coming to my defense, saying, how can you not like somebody just because their belief is not the exact same as yours, But it was funny about that. And then TMZ, of course, followed it up, and they did a story on it. And then that made it even more, I got even more response, both positive and negative after that. Then our local station here in Memphis, WMC Channel 5, they called me up, and they did a little interview about the same thing, about what we're talking about right now. And then more response. And so, it was kind of a weird week as far as social media went because of attending that rally. Then, as if I didn't learn my lesson, then yesterday, once the Cleveland Indians, which you're there in Cleveland, and we followed them all year long. I followed them my entire life, starting out as a kid up in Cleveland, and followed the Indians from. Gosh, I don't know. Anyway, like I said, all my life, and been a huge fan. And this year, after the season ended, which was basically day before yesterday, after their season ended, it signaled the retirement of their mascot, Chief Wahoo, the little caricature of the Cleveland Indian face that's been on their uniforms, has been the logo of the Cleveland Indians team since 1948, since before I was born. And so, I guess with all the political correctness, they decided that at the end of this year, they retired Chief Wahoo, and he was no longer around. So anyway, somebody had put up a tweet showing a cap with the Chiefs, with the Chief Wahoo logo on it, and said, "Rest in peace, Chief Wahoo." And I just retweeted it and said, all I said was, "This is sad." And by that I meant, this is an iconic logo that like I said, has been around since before I was born. I've seen it all my life, and never once did I ever think anything negative about Native Americans because of this logo. Never once did that come into my head as any kind of a thought about that. I mean, it was just always the the mascot of my favorite sports team. But anyway, when I wrote just the fact this is sad on my Twitter account and retweeted that picture of Chief Wahoo, holy mackerel, here goes again. All of a sudden, all of a sudden you're a total racist. You're just living in the past, and I mean just all of these things of the people that pretend to be offended by something that was never meant to be offensive. I mean, I think if anybody that really knew it, like you and I, and know the history of the Cleveland Indians, the whole name and the Indian logo was to honor Native Americans. The Cleveland Indians had the very first Native American baseball player, and he was such a star for the team that but I think before that they were called the Cleveland Spiders or something, weren't they?
Yeah, Cleveland Spiders.
Yeah, and so to honor this great Native American baseball player, they changed the entire name of their team to the Cleveland Indians, and then adopted this this caricature of Chief Wahoo as their mascot. I mean, it was never meant to be offensive to anybody, and I think the people in Cleveland never thought it was. It was just it was meant to honor this. What was his name? His last name was Sakalexis, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just think it's sad that the political correctness has gotten so out of hand. I even got a tweet from Jerry Briscoe. And he just said, Jerry Briscoe, of course, a Native American, great wrestler, and been around Jerry for years and years and years and years. And he just said, well, King, it's just time. And so, I mean, everybody has their opinion, which that's great. That's fine. But, I mean, it doesn't, I don't think that anybody, because somebody believes one way or the other, that all of a sudden you should, if they don't believe the same way you believe, that you ought to send them hate mail or things like that. That's the thing that's amazing to me.
I've seen a lot of, and it's all the listeners who, want to listen to Jerry talk wrestling. I mean, this is Jerry Lawler's podcast. We talk sports, we talk about pop culture, we talk wrestling. So, I mean, if you want to skip this, that's totally fine. If you're not going to listen because we went to a Trump rally, then
we're going to talk about some wrestling. But good grief, there's only so much you can say about wrestling every week.
Oh yeah, but this is real life. But I've seen so much hate because I read the tweets that people send to you because I like to keep track of what's going on with you and on social media with the podcast and whatnot. So I see all the tweets and the venom that people shoot at someone for having a different opinion is absolutely ridiculous. And I believe that, people saying, oh, Jerry Lawler, you should have died. I mean, that's just going to turn more people away from the Democratic Party. And you know what? Not every Republican is a bad person. Not every Democrat's a bad person. I'll be honest. Hey, if I was invited to go to Barack Obama rally, I would go because as a president, how often do you get to see a president, no matter who it is, no matter what party it is? I would go see the president.
I mean, you know what? It's like, gosh, a few months ago, Lauren was out in California, her and some girlfriends, and they were going on this sort of like a hike in this beautiful part of the country out there. And she said they got off the the shuttle to take it to the place where they start the hike, and it was at a golf course where they started out. And she said she saw a bunch of people watching this black guy playing golf, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I think that's Tiger Woods over there," And so she walks over, and then all of a sudden she sees like Secret Service guys, and she goes, she said, "Is that Tiger Woods?" And the guy said, "No, ma'am, that's Barack Obama." And, Lauren was just like, "Oh my gosh, how cool is this?" I mean, I'm getting this up close. I mean, and Barack Obama even came over to the crowd after he teed off and shook hands with everybody. And Lauren got to shake hands with him, and she thought that was one of the coolest things in the world, just to be that close to an ex-president. And the same way with Donald Trump, to be close to the president of the United States is something that probably 99.9% of the people in the country never get to do.
Exactly.
So
I mean, like I said, I would go to a Obama rally just because you get to see a president. If I was invited to go, I would go see any kind of president. And it's the spectacle outside the president. And you have the Secret Service, and I love the Secret Service. Like, I find that fascinating stuff. So I was more fascinated with watching the Secret Service, how they moved around, how they had talking in their hand and whatnot. I mean, it's a spectacle, and I think every person that is able to see any president, Democrat or Republican, should go to a rally just to say, hey, I was X amount of feet away from our president.
Exactly.
So you vote, you like who you like, you vote for who you vote for. That's what makes this country great. But if you're going to be a keyboard warrior and type out death threats, send nasty emails, or tweet out that someone should be dead, you should probably look at your life and evaluate what kind of person you are, because that's just not how this country should be.
Yeah, I'm going through now. I'm looking at just some of the comments after where I tweeted out, "This is sad," about Chief Wahoo, right? And the first one that came back is, "So is your support of Trump." And then the next one says, "It's truly sad that they've gotten away with using that ignorant logo for so long."
Well, I'm here in Cleveland, King.
Yeah.
And I used to go to every opening day as a kid through high school, and there would probably be around 10 people protesting Chief Wahoo. And even now, they do polls, because the paper up here in Cleveland, they're Democratic, so they're against Chief Wahoo. They write all these pieces against Chief Wahoo. But whenever they do a poll, it's always 80-20 people are in favor of Chief Wahoo.
Right.
So it's,
well, it's the squeaky wheel that gets oiled or gets whatever it is. Those are the people that make the most noise, the ones that are protesting against something. Here's one from a guy named L.J. Bakugo. This looks African-American guy's got his picture on there. And his reply says, "Reply to Jerry Lawler." Now, guess what it is? It's a GIF of Dolph Ziggler giving me the 10 elbows that gave me the heart attack, or gave me the cardiac arrest, September 2012. I mean, it's just Dolph Ziggler, bam, pounding one elbow after another into my chest. So anyway, this next person says, "Were you sad when minstrel shows went out of style as well?"
These people are just ridiculous.
Yeah. I said, "This is sad." They said, "Your team looked even sadder against the Astros." Oh boy.
I like the tweets, because I search it, and I see a lot of tweets. People are talking. They don't tweet at you, but they talk. They say Jerry Lawler, but you don't see them unless you search your name. And people are, it's not just about Trump or Chief Wahoo, but like, I'll just get a random tweet, a person saying, "Oh, I'm watching the Attitude Era, and Jerry Lawler's talking about boobs. It's disgusting. How did he get away with talking about boobs all the time?"
Right.
It's like, if you're going to get triggered about commentary 20 plus years ago, just lock yourself in a room and just don't come out.
Kidding.
Or take your phone away. Someone needs to take your phone away.
Here's another one. It's about Chief Wahoo. Said, "It's a sham. Those calling it racist need to get beyond their crutch and read the history of the team and the logo," what we were talking about, "and see that this organization has been at the forefront of opening doors to minorities throughout Major League Baseball history. But that doesn't matter. You have to find fault where it isn't." Well, so that was a positive one.
On the 411 website, Jerry, you were the douchebag of the week.
On what? On what website is that?
411mania.com, which is a wrestling dirt sheet.
I bet that's a biggie.
Oh, it's a biggie. They get a ton of hits. But you were the douchebag of the week. And the comments are saying
Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly. People in the comments are like, "So what? A guy that went to a political rally is a main douchebag?"
Mm. Yeah, like I said, it was definitely 50-50. Here's one person about the Chief Wahoo thing that said, "Indians' last World Series was in 1948, so maybe this will lift the curse." hey, who knows?
Yeah. Well, I doubt it, but
What do you mean?
get rid of Francona. Then we'll be all right.
No, don't you say that. Do not say get rid of Francona. Gosh. Who on earth would you replace him with that would be better than him?
Sandy Alomar.
I love Sandy Alomar. Yeah. Sandy Alomar is a good friend, and I love him, but I don't know. I'll bet you if you put the two of them together, Sandy would say, no, do not replace Terry with me. You got them both right now.
Yeah, it's just been a rough week, here in Cleveland. It's with the Indians, and the Cavs are starting up, but there's no LeBron. And the only thing that we have left to kind of cheer for or hope for are the Browns. How about that? Last few years, it's been Cavs and Indians making.
I'm still reading some of these tweet answers. Somebody said, "Well, maybe I'm offended by the Angels being a heathen." Because I'm a heathen, I'm offended by the Angels. And maybe the Devil Rays offend me because of Steve Irwin. Or maybe the Red Sox offend me because I love to go barefoot. Maybe the Yankees offend me. Well, they do. But you get the point. When does it stop?
Yeah. Well, they used to be the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and they got rid of the Devil because people complained about Devil.
So they just had to make them the Rays, right?
Yep. So it's not about the Devil Rays or an animal. It's about the Rays because they're in Tampa and it's sunny.
Man, now somebody is saying, but King George was oppressive to the American colonists. Should we remove all king references?
Well, the left seems to pick and choose their battles.
Oh my gosh, this is great. It's this guy named Bob King replying and says, now that he is unemployed, the Pirates should hire him. And they've got a great picture of Chief Wahoo with a little scraggly beard and the patch over one eye, and he's got on a pirate hat. Oh my gosh, the next person said, well, as the son of a pirate, I am offended by this caricature. And this person says, King, it's time to move on and show some respect for people.
Oh, respect the people, yes. Respect. And then his next tweet would be like, Jerry Lawler, go kill yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, this next one says, how is it sad? It's a horrible racial caricature from a bygone era.
Oh, no. Chief Wahoo. I stay up all night thinking about Chief Wahoo, King. I'm up all night in a cold sweat because Chief Wahoo is out there still. But you know what? They'll still sell Chief Wahoo stuff.
No, I don't. You think they will?
Oh, yeah, they will. I mean, they said they're still going to sell stuff with Chief Wahoo on it. They're just not going to have it in a ballpark.
Just the team itself is not going to wear it.
Right. And I'm sure you can find, lids, stores that sell hats. You can still get Chief Wahoo. But I mean, I'll always wear a Chief Wahoo hat no matter what they do with, with the logo.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get hate mail.
Well.
Anyway, that's enough about social media.
Social media, yes. That was I'm sure we'll get some hate because people.
Are you kidding? We'll get a ton of tweets about this now.
Well, if people made it through this, we appreciate you. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast.
Have you? You know what? I was glued. I couldn't help it. I was glued to the TV during the entire Kavanaugh. I don't even know what you would call it, escapade, or I mean, it was
the Senate hearings.
It was. The what?
The Senate hearings. Well,
I know it was a Senate hearing, but I mean, it was just like I don't know. It was so crazy. It was like a farce of a Senate hearing for both sides. It was just insane. But it was very entertaining. But I mean, just some of the division between the two sides was just so heated and everything. It was crazy. I don't know how how it's gotten that way just over politics.
Imagine running for mayor now, man.
Oh my gosh, I've said 1,000 times that was the best thing that never happened to me, winning a political race. And I feel sorry for poor Glenn. Even though he's the county mayor up in East Tennessee by Knoxville, I'm sure you're going to, no matter what, you're going to make half the people mad at you all of the time.
Right. It's a sad world, King.
Sad world.
Sad world. But yeah. So, all right. Well, like I said, I appreciate you guys listening. If you're getting
Speaking
past,
of making people mad at him, and we haven't talked about wrestling at all. I was shocked watching Monday Night Raw after you and no, that was me and Mike Kingston, the Headlock Comic guy, but at the Philadelphia Comic Con. But to see Nikki and Brie Bella turn bad on Monday Night Raw.
on Ronda Rousey.
On Ronda Rousey, of course. I mean, that was shocking, wasn't it to you?
I mean, I saw it coming, but
How'd you see it coming?
well, I mean, I don't know. It's the old, okay, we'll team up with you, and then we're going to turn on you before a pay-per-view kind of thing.
Oh, you saw it coming as like a wrestling angle.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to have someone for Ronda to wrestle at Evolution, the all women's pay-per-view. Are you going to be doing commentary, King?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Puppies.
Oh, please listen to you now.
That'd be perfect if Jerry Lawler did commentary for the all. You know how many people would be upset about that?
Oh my gosh, I'd get more hate mail than going to the Donald Trump rally.
Oh, that would be terrific. It was a surprise, and Michael Cole comes on and says, "Oh, good evening, everybody. We're live here.
Guest commentator tonight.
Our commentary table is Renee Young and Jerry the King Lawler."
Ooh,
Oh, that'd be great. I would watch it.
Renee has got to she's got to assert herself more. I swear, watching the show, she's just like a non-factor. She needs to get in there. She needs to not be intimidated by. I understand what it is, and it's not. I'm sure it's not because of the fact that she's a woman. I think it's just because she's the fact that, and I'm just going to say in these terms, she's like the new guy.
Right.
The new guy, and that comes into a situation is always a little bit intimidated, and they don't want to screw up or anything like that. But Renee needs to jump out there a little more.
Yeah, I mean, they're the main event. Well, the main event and Raw, especially with some of the matches. I was waiting for her to kind of rebuttal with Corey or especially with Corey, and it seems like you're right. She's either not. I don't think she's has the jitters or whatnot. I just think it's getting a rapport with Michael and Corey, because I'm sure a 3-man booth, 2 men, 1 woman booth is it has to be hard to get your takes in when you got 3 people talking.
Well, that's why you're right. It is. And that's why I said she needs to be more assertive, because what you have to do in that situation is you just have to be, you just got to stand up for yourself and jump in there, right or wrong, no matter what. You just got to get your points in there. I don't care if you step on somebody's toes. You need to be in there.
I think with Corey, and I like Corey a lot. I would wish that he would either be either a bad commentator, not like a bad, but either a bad guy or a good guy commentator. He likes to play the fence a little bit, and I think a commentary table needs to have that evil devil on the shoulder of the commentary table. But that's just me.
Yeah, but a devil's advocate.
A devil's advocate, like you were with you and JR, yeah. And you needed to have that guy that would root for the bad guy and kind of explain, why a bad guy did something the way he did.
Right.
And so
I always loved that, and it was working with JR made it so easy because he was so passionately one-sided for the good guys every match, but he didn't necessarily. I don't know. He was just he's the best on that. He didn't come across as like a homer or anything like that. He just came across as being passionate for the good side versus the evil side, right. And so that's why it was so easy to work with JR. Just loved it, and you didn't even have to be a real totally, like you said, you didn't have to be a total bad guy. All you had to do was just kind of take the side of the devil, play the devil's advocate, and every now and then take the side of the other guy, and then JR would just pick up on that, and it'd just be so great,
Well, speaking of old time and Attitude Era, and back in the day when wrestling was fun to watch on a regular basis.
Come on.
You had DX has made a return.
DX is making a return
Suck
for
it.
the crown jewel. No, you can't. I bet they won't be saying suck
I
it.
got 2 words for you, Jerry.
Well, you know what? I think they could say, I got 2 words for you,
No, they
and just
did.
let the crowd say it, right?
Yeah, that's what Shawn Michaels did.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't say, you know, for the millions watching at home, let's get ready to suck it.
No.
And Triple H, he did a cross chop.
Well, there you go.
But I mean, it's 2018. That's insinuating someone to do a sexual act without their consent.
Now, wait, how? I never understood that had anything to do with anything sexual.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious.
So what do you think it was when they said
Serious,
suck
Clark? Well, but I mean, I realize that, but I'm talking about just the cross chop. What did that mean?
it? That was the non-verbal way of saying to suck it.
Really?
I mean, that's what back in high school, if I didn't like someone or, they said something bad to me, I would do the crotch chop, which meant...
I know. Do you know what? Just last week, a friend of mine told me that his little nephew got sent home and got suspended for a day from school because he did the little cross chop, the suck it thing at school.
Well, if that happened back in high school when I went to school in the 90s, the whole school would be sent home.
Yeah, because everybody was doing that for a while, right?
So what do you think it was when someone did that?
I don't know. I always just looked at it as just I don't know. It's almost like when somebody would give you the middle finger. I didn't think of that. I never thought of that as anything sexual.
Right, but they're pointing to their groin. They're chopping at their groin when their catchphrase is "suck it."
Okay, have it your way.
If I'm wrong, let us know, people. Dinner with King.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get some tweets, but that's just my situation of when someone did that.
Well, I mean, I guess that's probably what most people think, because if not, kids wouldn't get suspended for doing it at school.
True. I guess the principal was a DX fan back in the day. Because I'm sure people doing that nowadays don't know the backstory with that gesture.
Right.
But DX is back. Yeah, Shawn Michaels, Triple H are back versus...
And The Undertaker and Kane are back together. The Brothers of Destruction back together again.
Now,
I love all this.
Oh, I do too.
I swear I'm serious about this. I think they ought to, when they had this match like that, I just think the only natural thing to do would be to have me and good old JR to call the match.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be wrestling at the Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. A lot of people are not happy about that.
I know.
Not
WWE is.
WWE's they're laughing all the way to the bank, but people understand. How come they're having Shawn Michaels come back and DX? It should be all about the new guys, all about the young blood. Well, when the person that's paying money to have you go to Saudi Arabia requests somebody, you're going to follow that request.
Yeah, I think we talked about this one time before on the podcast about the fact that when they did the first show in Saudi Arabia, I think the Crown Prince himself was asking for certain wrestlers that he wanted to see in person. And, obviously he remembered, he just maybe wasn't really up on the new stuff right now, but he remembered the stuff from the past. And I think one of the guys he asked Vince for to be on the show was Yokozuna. And Vince had to explain, well, he's passed away. And then the next person he asked for was Ultimate Warrior. And Vince went, oh, he's passed away. And then the guy mentioned, what about the guy that wears the crown and the guy that wears the cowboy hat? And he said, yeah, yeehaw, they're still alive. So, that's why JR and I got sent over there this last time. And that's just the thing, that those, that fan base, or at least, like you said, the person that's footing the bill for the show to bring everybody over there, the big money guy, the Crown Prince himself, he wants to see the wrestlers that probably the ones that he grew up on. And that's what he's asking for. And, that's why, they got Shawn Michaels to come out to make that trip, and teaming up the Brothers of Destruction and putting DX together, all for this, for the for this one big show that is specifically pretty much for the royal family themselves over there.
So, I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, you're upset that AJ Styles is not in the main event. I mean, if you get around $40 million, you can book your own WWE show and have whoever you want on it. You can have AJ Styles in the main event.
Exactly right.
You can have anything you want.
That is exactly right.
And if I was a rich, Saudi Arabian prince or a king or whatever I am, if I had the money and I was able to have WWE come to my arena or stadium.
Yeah, let me ask you, what kind of main event would you ask for?
Oh, it would be
like if next month you could pay $10 million and have any choice of anybody that ever wrestled in the WWE, past or present, that of course is still alive. What kind of main event would you ask for? I would
pay extra $1 million to have Stone Cold come out of retirement. All right.
There you go.
All right. So I would have Stone Cold come out of retirement. I would pay for The Rock to be there, and I would have Stone Cold and The Rock teaming up in the main event. And I would take Triple H. Oh, boy. This is a toughie. I mean, making a 6-man tag team match.
Oh, now it's getting a bit. That's good. 6-man's good.
6-man Stone Cold, The Rock, and Kurt Angle versus Triple H. It's a toughie.
Well, I'm just telling you right now, I would, if you're paying all the money and you can get anybody ever past or present, I'd have to have Hulk Hogan in that match.
I was thinking that, but I'm thinking, well, he probably can't take any bumps.
Who cares? He would be part of it. If you had a tag team of Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin all on one side, holy mackerel.
And Triple H, okay, I'm doing Triple H, Ric Flair, and Sting. How about that?
Well, there you go. That'd be, for probably $20 million, you might get that match.
And then the special guest referee would be Vince McMahon.
Well, yeah, or you could throw cornermen in there. You could put Vince in a corner, or as a special referee. That'd be awesome.
And my commentary team would be good old JR and Jim Cornette.
There you go.
Because you'd be wrestling, King.
Oh, really? I'd be wrestling on that show.
You would be a wrestling you
better put me against Dolph Ziggler
in the co-main event.
Texas Death Match.
In the co-main event, we would have a lingerie pillow fight.
We can't do that in Saudi Arabia.
That's right.
Hey.
Okay, Jerry Lawler versus not Dolph Ziggler. Sorry, Dolph.
Okay, not Dolph.
It would be Jerry Lawler versus Paul Heyman.
Ooh, yeah.
In a street fight.
Yeah.
And a good old-fashioned Saudi Arabian street fight.
Where the streets are paved in gold.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that would be good. You could book a multi-million-dollar show, man.
Mm-hmm. See? And I bet people would love this. Would love it. So
love it.
Wrap the show up, King. Let's wrap the show up here. New York Comic Con. How was your weekend in New York City? You're there for like 4 days. Comic Con
was unbelievable. Get this. 250,000 people came through the Javits Center in Manhattan in those 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was jam-packed. I've never seen anything like it. And our booth, of course, we had the Headlock comic book booth, Mike Kingston, poor Mike. I mean, it was just, it was so hectic. And he had worked on, this guy does so much hard work putting together these the Headlock comic books, and then getting all this stuff together for the Comic Cons. And this, of course, was the biggest one, the most expensive one of the year. And he had a tremendous group of talent there. He had myself, he had Christian, he had Lita, he had Trish Stratus, and he had Sting, all at his booth there. So we all were there for 4 days. Well, I was there 3. Sting was there 3. Christian was there every day, and Lita and Trish. So, man, I mean, the lines were unbelievable. People coming up and, getting autographs, taking pictures, and meeting a bunch of great fans. And it was just awesome. It was every day was just, whew. I mean, it was nonstop.
I was jealous of what Lauren was posting. I know she got some photos of some people, and then I saw a photo of her and Topanga from Boy Meets World, which I got a photo with in Chicago a couple months ago. But
I got a photo with her too. She's a cutie.
Yeah, she's nice. She was my crush back in high school.
And then Lauren got a picture with another picture with one of her crushes, Joe. How you pronounce his last name?
Something like that.
Yeah, that's him. You know what I'm talking about. I just put a picture of me and him up on Instagram just a little while ago.
Yeah, the King was dumping some photos on Instagram, his 6-7 photos at one time thing.
I was doing what?
When you post on Instagram, you usually post like 8 photos at once. Peyton knows about this.
Yeah, I do. I'll kind of sit down for a little bit and say, I need to put some new stuff up on Instagram.
You do know you can make a slideshow, right?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
You can post like 10 photos in one post. They can
here's the one picture I put up. The last one was me, Mike Kingston, Headlock guy, and Christian and Trish Stratus and Lita. It's already got 2,984 likes, and I just put it up.
I got a question for you, King, from social media.
Uh-oh. Already?
This is from Corey Long. He wants to know, how dare you, King? Who do you think you... Oh, no, I'm just kidding. He says...
Hey, look at this. Look,
what?
John Cone. Listen, John Cone came by the booth with his son, the little tag team champion.
Yeah, former tag team champion.
Remember?
Nicholas.
Yeah. And I just got a picture of, him and Nick and John and me. It's just a picture standing there. And look, liked by 8,444 people just in a matter of short time.
All the Nicholas fans.
Here's one of me standing at Times Square. Me and Lauren eating at a Carmine's restaurant. Lauren at Times Square. Me and Deadpool. And there's me and Sting.
Hey, did you ever post that photo who won the pinball battle royale between you, me, and Peyton the other day? Who won that?
I don't think I've put that up yet.
We might have to check for the AWA the heavyweight championship. I might have packed that in my bag.
Of the pinball championship?
Yeah, the AWA title belt you have in your garage. You better check if it's there. You better check if it's still there.
Here's Peyton. You know what he's talking about now, Peyton? What? He said, pinball championship.
Pinball championship, yeah. Well, here's a question. Here's a question.
That was like a 3-game best out of 3.
Yeah.
No, what is it? Best out of 4. Peyton won a game, I won a game, and you won 2 games. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, here's a question from Corey Long. Speaking of Comic-Cons, will any other WWE talent will be joining you at the Headlock comic booth during the Memphis Comic Expo?
That's a good question.
I'm looking at the list of people who are going to be there, and I don't see anybody else, like wrestler-wise.
Yeah, ordinarily at the Memphis Comic Con, I'm there, and I usually have the Batmobile there with me, and then David Milligan and Mark James are usually there, and Mark James with all his Memphis wrestling books, and David Milligan with all the championship belts and all that stuff. Those guys, and then Mark's brother Chris with he's the guy that makes my crowns now, and he's there with a bunch of his crowns that he makes, and that's usually what we have for the Memphis Comic Expo.
Yeah. So, it says Mark James will be there. I'm sure I have the Jerry Lawler book available for purchase.
Yep.
And that is.
Have you read all of my 4,000 matches yet?
I'm on match number 2,130. So I'm getting there. No,
You're getting there.
I scroll through it. It's good material when you're on the can in the bathroom, and you can just. I'm just going to read some Jerry Lawler matches.
Wait a minute. You're trying to tell me that's bathroom reading material?
That's no, I'm just kidding. Maybe a couple times. Anyway. All right, King. Well, where are you going to be this weekend?
Joe Manganiello.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think so.
Manganiello. Yeah. He's in that new oh gosh, what is that he's got that new series that's out right now that he's in. He was there talking about I don't know this as if it's called bait or whatever it is, but anyway, it said he had I went crazy about it, but he gave me this shirt. He said, "King, here, take this shirt." And I looked at it and it said "Death Saves." And I went, "Ooh, I don't know." But anyway, Lauren had her picture made with Joe. He's a really cool guy and big King fan. Big King. Yeah, but anyway, she had her picture made with him during the thing. It was kind of cool. What else is going on?
Do you know that Mayor Jacobs, Glenn Jacobs, and Dr. Tom Pritchard are opening a wrestling school in Knoxville, Tennessee?
Ooh, wow.
King, you ever thought about opening a wrestling school up?
Have I ever thought about it? I have thought about it, and I would. It would just take too much time.
Well, duh.
I don't know. I mean, to do it right, I don't know. I just don't think I would have the. I don't think I would have the. I don't know what you would call it, the stamina to last throughout training somebody, to make it into the wrestling business.
Well, you don't need to be there every single training session. I think you just have it King's.
I would think you would be.
No, not you. I would hire somebody.
You're going to hire somebody else to train them. Then you're not training them. It's not. It's unless you just want to throw your name up there and say Jerry Lawler School of Wrestling.
Well, yeah, I mean, you would put your name on there, and then you have someone else.
That was what happened years ago. Jimmy Hart used to had a running rib about that, and so many people, because of Jimmy Hart saying it over and over, thought that I really did have a wrestling school, because when some poor slug would go out there and just get his brains beat out on TV, then Jimmy would say, "Look, that guy went to the Jerry Lawler School of Wrestling." And so then a lot of people thought I really did have a school of wrestling.
Well, then I don't think Mayor Jacobs, Glenn Jacobs, is going to be doing every single session, but his name's on it.
Is it really called the Mayor?
Well, no, people are just, the people calling him Glenn Jacobs, Mayor. It's the Jacobs Pritchard Wrestling Academy, the JPWA, where legends begin.
Ooh.
So.
Well, good for him. That's a good thing.
Well, I think you should open a school, King. I think you should.
I'm not going to open a wrestling school, so forget it.
I'll be your first.
I'm not going to do it. Oh, Lord. Little Vader.
Little Vader, yeah. All right. So where are you going to be this weekend, King?
Well, actually, probably I'm heading to, right now, I'm probably in, as this is airing, it's fall break in schools here in Memphis. So we headed out to Los Angeles. Just got back from New York, now headed to Los Angeles. May go to Disneyland. We got Peyton with us, and we're going to give him on this little fall break. We're going to go out and hang out in Hollywood and possibly Disneyland for a couple of days. And then I got to be back by Saturday, because Saturday I'm doing a double shot. I'm actually going to be in a parade, I think, in Greenfield, Tennessee, and then around noon or so, and doing a little appearance there. And then I'm wrestling Saturday night in Dyersburg, Tennessee. Mm. Yeah. And the Sheik didn't have to pay $1 million for the show either. Sheik Burt Prentice is putting that show on.
The Sheiky baby.
Sheiky baby, Burt Prentice.
Yeah. All right, well, that sounds good. Then you'll be at the Memphis Comic Expo on the 20th and 21st.
Yep.
And then you're going to be headed on to Florida after that a little bit for the Jericho Cruise.
The Jericho Cruise. That's going to be so much fun.
You know what I'm going to send you?
What? I'm
going to send you a YouTube link to all the cruise ships that have like really rocky waves and
you know what? Honest to goodness, this is the truth. You know that the Hurricane Michael just passed through the Gulf of Mexico, and I had some friends. They didn't tell me, but they told some other friends of mine that they were on a cruise ship, and they said it was so rocky or wavy or something. They said it actually was like you felt like you lost gravity. It felt like the boat would just like go out from under you for a minute, and just it was really, really wavy, and said everybody was getting seasick. So I hope that doesn't happen. I hope when we're on the Jericho Cruise, which I'm pretty sure it will, we'll have great weather, and everybody's going to have a great time on that.
Well, I hope you don't get in Hurricane King.
Thanks a lot there, Glenn.
That's my worst fear.
What?
Either being in an airplane, they have no control and it's like really going bad, and then or on a cruise ship and it's going bad and you have no control over anything. You're just stuck. Yeah. That's my worst fear.
Yeah, I'd much rather, I think I'd rather be in a cruise ship than be in an airplane with no control.
This show has gone off the rails.
Yes, it has.
All right.
Yes, it has.
Well, you can follow the show on Twitter at Dinner with King. You can interact with us. Go to the King's website. His store is open. KingJerryLawler.com.
You know what? I got to tell everybody that's listening around the Memphis area, don't forget, still every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, I started to say Dinner with the King, but no, it's Jerry Lawler's Classic Memphis Wrestling. And, I just saw WWE put up, I don't know if you saw the little tweet that they were showing a hidden gem. They call it a hidden gem on the network. It was some Memphis wrestling. It was me against me, and they said that Jerry Lawler faced a mean challenge, and of course it was Mean Mark Calloway, which was the Undertaker before he became the Undertaker, and it was a match of he and I from Memphis that I guess the WWE was showing on the network.
Yeah, I clicked the link and I watched the match.
Did they show the whole match?
Yeah, it's like in the hidden gems where WWE, when they get this like USWA shows or they get a match from like Texas that you did, they post it up there, and this was in the vault.
Who won that match?
I believe it was a count out or a double DQ, or someone got DQ'd. I think it was Mean Mark because you advanced. It was a tournament match.
Yeah, and if you remember, who was in his corner?
Oh God, Bruno.
Come on. Downtown Bruno.
Downtown Bruno, yeah.
Yes, he was.
So
anyway, Harvey Whippleman.
It's testing me.
But that was kind of cool that they showed that. But anyway, you can see a lot of that on the Channel 30 in Memphis, and I think you could check out their website. I think they're streaming the Classic Memphis Wrestling shows on the Channel 30 WLMT website in Memphis, Tennessee.
Well, KingJerryLawler.com, on the front page, you can click a link, and you can watch the YouTube versions of these episodes.
There you go. Look at that.
So it's on KingJerryLawler.com.
And what else can you do at KingJerryLawler.com?
Well, you can order
a mystery box.
Mystery box or 8x10s to be autographed and shipped directly to you from the King himself. When he does these mystery boxes, it's not like his assistant or I are doing these. He's actually doing them. So everything.
I go around the house and I look for stuff that would be like, it's like you're opening up a Christmas present and you're going, what the heck could be in here? And then you go, what the heck is that? How do you send me that? What in the world?
I think one person got a spatula.
No, they didn't get a spatula. But we do send out. I send out some of the actual shirts that I wore on either Raw or SmackDown over the years. Yep. Some of those cool blingy shirts and everything.
Yep. So you can find
and I'll sign them, and then there's just tons of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes action figures, sometimes it's never the same. Sometimes
DVDs,
actual DVDs. Sometimes there's actual original artwork that I do.
I think someone got a book.
Book, yeah, books. You can never tell what's in there.
Never, and not one box is the same with another. So if you order one, you can order two and get two different boxes.
We've had people order two
or three.
And then our buddy Juan out in California ordered the one of a kind King Jerry Lawler blinged out shirt that I wore on Raw.
I talked to Juan for like an hour on the phone.
Did you really?
Yeah, because
he's a great guy. I've had dinner many times with Juan. He's picked me up when I fly into San Francisco and taking me around to the arenas, and we go out to eat afterwards before I catch a red eye. And he's a great guy.
Yeah. So, okay, King. Well, anything else that you want to plug before you wrap it up?
Let's see. Can't think of anything right now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm sure by next week we'll have tons more stuff to talk about. More nasty tweets and all that kind of stuff.
well, I got a special guest for next week's show.
You what?
I got a special guest for next week's show.
Oh, you do? Is it a mystery guest?
It's a mystery guest.
The mystery of it.
So we'll figure it out. We'll let everybody know.
I also want to thank my buddy, Andy Fletcher.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball umpire. I would say thanks for nothing, Andy. Jesus. Thanks for nothing.
You know, I think he did third base.
He umpired the Cleveland Indians Houston Astros series.
I know.
3 big games.
He didn't do nothing.
No help.
There is a check swing.
That's what I hate about umpires and referees. They don't care who wins.
I know. Calhoun. Look at Calhoun.
Right.
You know?
Same way.
Oh, well, that match with Mean Mark, you know, Calhoun was out of position. You had a pin or something like that, and he was knocked out or something. And I'm like, come on, Calhoun.
Man.
No, Andy Fletcher. I think he did third base for Game 3. And
yeah, I think one time he was like the left field umpire. Then he did third base or something. I'm not sure.
Well, there's a check swing from the Indians, and he didn't go around. And they pointed down to Fletcher, and he rang him up.
Oh, thank you, Andy, once again.
Yep. I was like, oh.
I'll be having lunch with him soon, and that will certainly be a sore subject. I might have to give him the old DX second chop.
Oh God, please don't do that.
Okay.
Greetings, wrestling fans. This is Dave Dynasty, host of the Dave Dynasty Show, the podcast that every week brings you nearly 2 hours of pro wrestling goodness from the Midwest. We feature interviews with the legends of the past, stars of today, and the prospects of tomorrow. We have segments that feature classic wrestling audio, whole episodes devoted to the history of Midwest pro wrestling, and much, much more. Do not miss an episode of the Dave Dynasty Show. We are available on all podcast platforms, or you can access past episodes and all of our social media links by visiting davedynasty.com. Be good, be safe, and keep on growing.
All right, final word, King.
All right, Glenn, that's about it.
Final word.
Final word. Final word.
Suck it.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll talk to everybody next week here on The Dinner with the King. Yeah.
Yeah.
The preceding show is a Pod Avenue production.